The larger Sutra of Infinite Life was delivered by Shakyamuni Buddha about 2,600 years ago at Rajagriha, India. It was taught by the world-honored 1 to 12,000 highly accomplished monks, and a large gathering of great bodhisattvas, such as Samantabhadra, Avalokitesvara, Manjusri, and Maitreya, as well as many lay bodhisattvas. To preach this wonderful sutra is the real reason why Shakyamuni Buddha appeared in our world. This magnificent sutra is one of the 3 sutras of Pure Land Buddhism in general, and the principal, essential teaching, particularly emphasized in Shin Buddhism, the true Pure Land way. The sutra tells us how Amida Buddha's 48 vows arose, and how they were marvelously fulfilled, when Amida Buddha attained enlightenment, many trillions of years ago. Upon the perfect fulfillment of the vows, a true and real Pure Land was thus established, to receive all sentient beings, who sincerely aspire to be born there, but who are incapable to do so, by their own, self-power efforts. As the sutra is rather lengthy, it is not usually recited by many lay followers daily. So, for the purpose of our recitation here, we have divided the sutra into parts 1 to 15, according to episodes, that can be recited separately, as we wish. We are now reciting this sutra, directly from the excellent English translation, mentioned in the acknowledgements and credits section below. Thus have I heard. At one time the Buddha was staying on a vulture peak in Rajagriha, with a large company of 12,000 monks. They were all great sages, who had already attained supernatural powers. Among them were the following: the Venerable Inadakandinya, the Venerable Ashvajit, the Venerable Vaspa, the Venerable Manama, the Venerable Bhadrayit, the Venerable Vimala, the Venerable Yashadeva, the Venerable Subbahu, the Venerable Purnaka, the Venerable Gavampati, the Venerable Urvalvakashyapa, the Venerable Gayakashyapa, the Venerable Nadikashyapa, the Venerable Mahakashyapa, the Venerable Shariputra, the Venerable Mahamalayana, the Venerable Kapina, the Venerable Mahakausthalya, the Venerable Mahakatyayana, the Venerable Mahakunda, the Venerable Purnama-Etrayanipitra, the Venerable Aniruddha, the Venerable Ravada, the Venerable Kimpala, the Venerable Amagaraja, the Venerable Parayanika, the Venerable Vakula, the Venerable Nanda, the Venerable Svagata, the Venerable Rahula, and the Venerable Ananda. All of these were elders. Mahayana Bodhisattvas also accompanied the Buddha, including all those of this auspicious kalpa, such as the Bodhisattva Samantabhadra, the Bodhisattva Manjushri, and the Bodhisattva Maitreya. There were also the 16 lay bodhisattvas, such as Bhadrapala, as well as the Bodhisattva Profound Thought, the Bodhisattva Wisdom of Faith, the Bodhisattva Voidness, the Bodhisattva Bloom of Supernatural Power, the Bodhisattva Hero of Light, the Bodhisattva Superior Wisdom, the Bodhisattva Banner of Wisdom, the Bodhisattva Tranquil Ability, the Bodhisattva Wisdom of Vows, the Bodhisattva Sweet-Smelling Elephant, the Bodhisattva Hero of Treasures, the Bodhisattva Dwelling in the Center, the Bodhisattva Practice of Restraint, and the Bodhisattva Emancipation. Each of these bodhisattvas, following the virtues of the Mahasattva Samantabhadra, is endowed with the immeasurable practices and vows of the Bodhisattva path, and firmly dwells in all the meritorious deeds. He freely travels in all the 10 quarters, and employs skillful means of emancipation. He enters the treasury of the Dharma of the Buddhas, and reaches the other shore. Throughout the innumerable worlds he attains enlightenment. First, dwelling in the Tushita heaven, he proclaims the true Dharma. Having left the heavenly palace, he descends into his mother's womb. Soon after he is born from her right side, he takes 7 steps. As he does so, an effulgence illuminates everywhere in the 10 quarters, and innumerable Buddha lands shake in 6 ways. Then he utters these words: I will become the most honored one in the world." Shakra and Brahma reverently attend him, and heavenly beings adore and worship him. He shows his ability in calculation, writing, archery, and horsemanship. He is also conversant with the divine arts, and well read in many volumes. In the field outside the palace he trains himself in the martial arts, and at court shows that he also enjoys the pleasures of the senses. When he first encounters old age, sickness and death, he realizes the impermanence of the world. He renounces his kingdom, wealth and throne, and goes into the mountains to practice the way. After sending back the white horse that he has been riding, together with the jeweled crown and ornaments which he has been wearing, he takes off his magnificent clothes, and puts on a Dharma robe. He cuts his hair and shaves his beard, sits upright under a tree, and strives at ascetic practices for 6 years in accord with the traditional way. Since he has appeared in the world of the 5 defilements, he behaves as the multitude. And as his body appears dirty, he takes a bath in the golden river. As a god bends a branch down towards him, he is able to climb up the river bank. A divine bird follows him closely to the seat of enlightenment. A deva takes the form of a youth and, perceiving a favorable sign, respectfully presents him with the auspicious grass. The Bodhisattva compassionately accepts it, spreads it under the Bodhi tree and sits upon it with his legs crossed. He emits a great flood of light to inform Mara of this. Mara and his army come to attack and tempt him, but he brings them under control with the power of wisdom and makes them all surrender. Then he attains the supreme Dharma and realizes the highest, perfect enlightenment. As Shakra and Brahma request him to turn the wheel of the Dharma, the Buddha visits various places, and preaches the Dharma in his thunderous voice. He beats the Dharma drum, blows the Dharma conch, brandishes the Dharma sword, hoists the Dharma banner, rolls the Dharma thunder, hurls the Dharma lightning, brings the Dharma rain, and bestows the Dharma gift. At all times, he awakens the world with the sound of the Dharma. His light illuminates countless Buddha lands, causing the entire world to quake in 6 ways. It encompasses Mara's realm, shaking his palace, so that he and his host become frightened and surrender. The Bodhisattva tears asunder the net of evil, destroys wrong views, removes afflictions, flushes the gutters of desire, protects the Dharma castle, opens the Dharma gate, washes off the grime of the passions, and reveals the pure white Dharma. He unifies everything in the Buddha Dharma, and thus proclaims the right teaching. He enters the town to beg alms, he accepts even rich food to enable the donors to accumulate merit, and also to show that he is a field of virtue. Wishing to expound the Dharma, he smiles and so cures the 3 pains with various Dharma medicines. He teaches that the aspiration for enlightenment has immeasurable merit, and, by giving predictions to bodhisattvas, he enables them to attain Buddhahood. He demonstrates that he passes into nirvana, but endlessly brings sentient beings to emancipation. In removing their defilements, planting various roots of virtue and attaining excellent merit, he displays wonderful and inconceivable works. Furthermore, each of the bodhisattvas in the assembly is able to visit various Buddha lands, and expound teachings of the way. His manner of practice is pure and undefiled. Just as a magician with his perfect skill can create at will various illusions, including images of man or woman, at will, so the bodhisattva, having thoroughly learned all the methods of emancipation, and attained serene awareness of reality, can freely teach and transform beings. He manifests himself everywhere in innumerable Buddha lands, performing acts of compassion for sentient beings tirelessly, and with diligence. He has thus obtained complete mastery of such methods of emancipation. He is thoroughly conversant with the essentials of the sutras for bodhisattvas, and, as his fame spreads everywhere, he guides sentient beings throughout the 10 quarters. All Buddhas remember him, and give him their protection. He has already dwelt in all the Buddha's abodes and performed all the deeds of the great sage. He proclaims the Tathagata's teachings, acts as a great master for other bodhisattvas, and, with profound samadhi and wisdom, guides multitudes of beings. With penetrating insight into the essential nature of dharmas, he discerns different aspects of living beings, and closely watches over all the worlds. In making offerings to the Buddhas, he manifests transformed bodies like flashes of lightning. Having well learned the extensive wisdom of fearlessness in preaching, and having realized the illusory nature of dharmas, he destroys Mara's nets, and unties all the bonds of passion. He rises above the stages of Shravakas, and Pratyeka Buddhas, and attains the samadhis of emptiness, non-form, and non-desire. He skillfully provides expedient means, and thus reveals three distinct teachings. Then for those of the middle, and lower stages, he demonstrates his passing into nirvana. But, in reality, he is non-active and non-acquisitive, and, being aware that dharmas in themselves neither arise nor perish, he realizes that they are of absolute equality. He has attained innumerable dharanis, 100,000 samadhis, and various kinds of spiritual faculties and wisdom. With the meditation of vast and universal tranquility, he enters deeply into the Dharma treasury for bodhisattvas. After attaining the Buddha Garland Samadhi, he proclaims, and expounds all the sutras. While dwelling deep in meditation, he visualizes all the innumerable Buddhas, and in an instant visits every one of them. By elucidating, and teaching the ultimate truth to sentient beings, he delivers them from the state of extreme pains, from the conditions in which suffering is so great as to prevent people from finding time for Buddhist practices, and also from the conditions in which suffering is not so great as to prevent them from doing so. Having attained the Tathagata's thorough knowledge and eloquence, he has fluent command of languages, with which he enlightens all beings. He is above all worldly affairs, and his mind, always serene, dwells on the path of emancipation. This gives him complete control over all dharmas. Without being asked to do so, he becomes a good friend to each of the multitude of beings, and carries their heavy karmic burdens on his back. He upholds the Tathagata's profound Dharma treasury, and protects the seeds of Buddhahood, so that they may continue to multiply. Having awakened great compassion for sentient beings, he kindly expounds the teaching, and endows them with the Dharma eye. He blocks the paths to the three evil realms, opens the gate of virtue, and, without waiting for their request, provides beings with the Dharma. He does this for the multitude of beings just as a dutiful son loves, and respects his parents. He indeed looks upon sentient beings as his own self. With such roots of virtue, all the bodhisattvas in the assembly had reached the shore of emancipation. They had acquired the Buddha's immeasurable merit, and attained the sacred, pure and inconceivable wisdom. Innumerable bodhisattvas, mahasattvas, such as these assembled there, all at once,